Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr Chair, I want to go back and deal with the process we're in. And I want to make a couple of points because I heard the rebuttal from the Minister. Here's where we find ourselves in an absurd way. No one on this side of the House is holding up this legislation. No one. And what we're now finding is filibustering from government members. The Minister took 3 consecutive calls, which is rather unusual. Normally it's 2. And the members opposite are getting up and speaking to this to allow time for the government SOP.
Point of order, Honourable Jerry Brown.
Mr Speaker, I confine my comments entirely to dealing with amendments moved by the opposition. If they don't want them given serious consideration, guess who's filibustering?
That's not a point of order, but...
Thank you. And I note this is a wide-ranging debate. Where we find ourselves is in a holding pattern, waiting for the government at 1:45, 15 minutes before the luncheon adjournment to provide an SOP.
It'll be 1 o'clock.
And the Minister said it will be 1 o'clock. Well, so let's do the calculation. So we've been in a holding pattern all of this morning. Well, it could be 2 o'clock,
yeah,
he says.
Could be 3.
Okay, it could be 3 o'clock. Well, no, that's very interesting. I thank the Minister. Because the interesting thing is this. If we hold to the timetable as specified by that member, then after the lunch break, the House will come back at 2 o'clock, and then there'll be a question time for an hour and 30 minutes, roughly as it is. So let's assume we get back to the committee stage with 30 minutes to run at 3:30 to allow time to vote, and then we'll have a 2-hour debate from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m, unless the Minister wants to work overtime, and we stand charged and ready to go, in order to get this through by his timetable stated publicly of 6 p.m. That would allow less than 30 minutes to debate an SOP. And I just say to the Minister, he's used as an alibi, well, it's a cramped timetable, my officials have worked all night. And I acknowledge that, I'm sure they have. People like Mr Palmer and others who briefed us, eminent lawyers and others will have worked all night to try and get this thing out, and working and writing the SOP as we speak. I say the responsibility for that lies in the Minister's own hands. He set the timetable for this. Had he allowed another 24 hours, given that the state of emergency is still in existence till the 16th of April, then his officials would be under less pressure. We would have had time to scrutinise the SOP, but we're now in an absurd situation that if this House lifts as scheduled at 6 o'clock, there will be virtually no scrutiny of a government SOP. And I say to Mr Brownlee, how embarrassing is it for that Minister, sir, to sit in a chair and not have an SOP available? That is not our fault. That is not actually the fault of his officials. He is the Minister who set the time frame. Yes, he acceded finally to a request for a select committee, which had public submissions of 4 hours and 40 minutes. And yes, the select committee, well chaired by Mr Arkenville, as rapidly as it could, delivered on his timetable to get the report back here at 9 a.m. And we delivered. And this side of the House, and I believe the Green member also, furnished Mr Brownlee ahead of time with our amendments so that there was no ambush, so that he had time to scrutinise them. I take it, having listened to his debate, he's trashed the lot. We note that. So we're prepared, we're ready, we stand ready to scrutinise an SOP. And I just say, if this is the portent of disorganisation, of mismanagement and incompetence, and I'll say this, they're not political words, they're facts, that this House is treated with such contempt that we are not allowed to, and I'm told, journalists have even told me, that they've asked for the so-called summary sheet and his office has refused to give it to them.
That's not true.
Yes, it is, and I won't name the journalist. I've been to see a few. And the issue about the summary sheet, Mr Brownlee says, well, I've given you a summary which we requested. He had no intention of giving it to us until I requested it in a private session with him last night. And he has, with generosity, provided that summary sheet. But there's a couple of problems with it, Minister, through you, sir. It doesn't provide the technical wording that we need to actually scrutinise the legislation. It doesn't provide any of the technical definitions. It basically says the member agrees or disagrees or notes, and or the officials, I should say, and a few colloquial words about what that means in essence. We are here, Mr Brownlee, as a former leader of the House, to scrutinise the technical detail of the legislation. And this is one of the most important bills that is going to go through this Parliament. And that member sits there not having furnished us with an SOP because he set the deadline, not us. He set the program. He could have allowed 24 hours. I'd like the Minister to answer this question. What would a delay of 24 hours have done to the people of Canterbury so that he could get his act together and he could get his officials to draft the SOP for proper scrutiny? Nothing. No effect, no delay at all.
Chairman.
He's incompetent.
Leanne Dalsey.